One, blaming yourself for not being able to reach these men is one thing, and blaming the men for not being able to be reached is another thing. But like the thing is like, I really want to focus on trying to get rid of this idea of blame and guilt and shame and finger pointing and stuff like that. People really need to look at like what are the actual conditions that emerge in people like this, people that you are trying to reach, people that are not being reached by you, etc. Like people really need to start focusing on these kinds of things in a lot more historical and structured way, material way, because it doesn't really help much. It's like, you know, when people try dealing with like structural issues with the police, right? It's really, really complicated. It's going to be able to get to with a lot of policies that are meant to reform policing. And that's one of the most difficult problems, is that you get these little cultures that you then try to manage or pass policy to change like some of the effects from that culture. But the culture is the culture. And so trying to ask the question of like, how do you change that culture? How's that culture structured? How do you influence that culture over time, materially? What does that look like? And those kinds of questions are not questions that people are asking about men and women in society. People ask the question after the fact, after these kinds of things have been created, and then say, how do we appeal to people like this?
For us, bleak. Just
sexualizing women is a bad thing. Not really, but like the commodified representation, where like a lot of men, are not able to get out of that. A lot of men have a hard time looking at women outside of those kinds of frameworks. And it doesn't help that you have these men that are literally just like, what did she say?
a takeaway.
Is not consensual objectification? What do you mean? It's not about the I don't think there's anything wrong with porn in and of itself, I guess. I don't think there's wrong with porn in and of itself, but you can imagine the ways that it will shape someone's psyche over time, especially with like a long term, you know. It can fuck with your head. It can fuck with people's head and the way that they view women as objects, especially if they're people that are like sexually alienated and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with porn. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong inherently with like the sexual image. But you have to also recognize that the way that women are viewed in society is largely shaped around the sexual objectification as like a focal point, you know, that is always kind of there. That kind of thing is always there.